In the dimly lit undergrounds of the underdog city, Van and his loyal companion, Chihuahua, stood side by side, their eyes fixed on a group of individuals that Van had recently captured, the sons of the powerful leaders ruling the underdog city, currently under the tight grip of the notorious Baskerville Clan. The air was tense with an impending confrontation as a yellow-haired noble approached, his eyes ablaze with anger and determination. "You'll pay for laying your hands on them," the yellow-haired noble hissed at Van, the threat hanging heavily in the air. His tone carried the weight of authority, a stark reminder of the power wielded by the leaders of the underdog city. The yellow-haired man warned Van that vengeance would be his once he escaped the confines of their current underground setting. Chihuahua, sensing the gravity of the situation, turned to Van with a furrowed brow. "What were you thinking, Sir Van, beating them so ruthlessly?" Chihuahua inquired. Concern etched across his face. Van, with a hint of nonchalance, asked Chihuahua if he thought he had gone too far. Chihuahua didn't hesitate to express his belief that Van should have shown more restraint, unable to fathom how Van had turned the noble's sons into what he described as meat pancakes. With a dismissive wave of his hand, Van assured Chihuahua that he had only just begun. He proceeded to enlighten Chihuahua about the corruption that had seeped into the leaders of the municipality. These leaders, originally tasked with preventing corruption and enhancing the lives of the people in the region, had instead succumbed to the allure of power, aiming to challenge even the mighty Baskerville Clan. Van pointed to the defiant posture of the captive individuals as proof that they had not learned their lesson. Turning to the yellow-haired noble, Van delivered a chilling ultimatum. Come sunset, he planned to execute them all. The noble, visibly shaken, struggled to comprehend the severity of their predicament. "Every one of you will face justice," Van declared, the words echoing in the cavernous underground space. He promised to wipe out anyone connected to the captives, a determination that sent shivers down the spines of the assembled nobles. Chihuahua, caught between loyalty and concern, questioned the potential repercussions of Van's actions. "What about their clan leaders? Will they not retaliate?" he asked, worry etched on his face. Van, however, remained undeterred, asserting that their clans had no grounds for complaint. The reason? The captured individuals were deeply entwined with the criminal underworld of the underdog city, rendering their clans powerless to oppose Van's actions. As apologies and pleas for mercy filled the underground chamber, Chihuahua couldn't shake the concern gnawing at him. But will their clans truly stay silent? They may be cowardly and sly, but they can also be bold. They'll never support any business overseen by you, and revenge will find its way to us, he warned, looking to Van for reassurance. Van, however, remained resolute. "Don't worry, Chihuahua. These clans can't complain. The corruption runs deep, and tonight, justice will prevail," he declared, a glint of determination in his eyes. In the shadowy depths of the underdog city, Chihuahua confronted Van, questioning the validity of his claims. Did he possess any evidence to support the accusations he hurled at the captured individuals? Van, seemingly unperturbed, brushed off Chihuahua's concerns, assuring him that he had his own methods of dealing with such matters. Nonchalantly, he mentioned the possibility of fabricating evidence if needed, showing little regard for the consequences that might follow. It was a stark revelation of Van's pragmatic and ruthless approach to achieving his goals. Van's thoughts meandered beyond the current predicament. He spoke of an impending age of calamity, hinting at an uncertain future where he might be thrust into battle. Even if that scenario did not unfold, he mentioned plans to leave the underdog city and enroll in the academy, a decision that implied a significant shift in his life. Turning his attention back to the accused individuals, Van approached them with a list of great charges. Illegal kidnapping and human trafficking were just the tip of the iceberg. Bribery, threats, blackmail, and even assassinations of officials were part of their alleged crimes. The yellow-haired noble among them vehemently denied involvement in such activities, boldly stating that he would accept any punishment if tangible evidence was presented. Van, maintaining a stern demeanor, assured the noble that punishment would be meted out if evidence surfaced. However, he pointed out the irony in the noble's tone, suggesting a guilt that contradicted the absence of concrete evidence. The yellow-haired individual, caught off guard, struggled to formulate a response. Van's speculative insight delved deeper. He surmised that the accused individuals, perhaps motivated by a desire to protect their clan's reputation, were unwilling to divulge the truth, even in the face of potential death. Amidst the tension, a man addressed Van as Vice Consul Van, revealing that he had completed a task commissioned by Van. This unexpected development seemed to brighten Van's mood, and he commended the man for his timely accomplishment. As Van produced a set of tools, the man, intrigued by their unfamiliarity, inquired about their origin. Van casually explained that these tools were commonplace in his hometown, dismissing the mystery surrounding them. A touch of dark humor emerged when the man jokingly asked if Van hailed from hell, to which Van cheekily offered to teach him some new tricks. However, the man declined the offer, citing the potential for nausea, an indication that Van's methods and knowledge might be beyond the ordinary. Back inside, Van removed his coat, signaling a pivotal moment. With a sinister expression, he warned the captured individuals not to utter a word. Cut to the bustling streets of the city outside, where rumors spread like wildfire. Whispers of the 7 individuals, known for their opulent lifestyle and criminal exploits, being apprehended together created a buzz of speculation. The underdog citizens couldn't stop talking about it. The arrest of the prominent individuals had become the talk of the town. Opinions swirled, with some expressing skepticism about the likelihood of the detainees being released easily given the seemingly stern nature of the new vice council. Others believed that, being the children of the native clan, the captives would face humiliation but ultimately be set free. There was also speculation that the weight of the law would come down on them, leading to potential execution. As the narrative unfolded, the clans extended a symbolic apology to the new vice consul, hoping to sway the decision in their favor. Local power players, in response to this gesture, began to relent. The prevailing expectation was that the locked-up individuals, often derogatorily referred to as trashes, would escape with nothing more than a scolding from their influential clan heads. That assumption shattered when the city square became the stage for a grim spectacle. 7 heads prominently displayed, each representing the ultimate consequence for the alleged crimes committed. The shock rippled through the populace as the notice above the severed heads detailed the crimes for which the execution had been carried out. The abrupt shift from anticipation of a mild reprimand to the stark reality of capital punishment left the people bewildered. Van, seemingly unfazed by the turn of events, explained to Chihuahua that such laws already existed. Though the execution of these high-profile native nobles was bound to leave an indelible mark, he predicted that, with his declaration of war, the clans would initiate a series of schemes. According to Van, the impending war of attrition would only conclude when one side emerged victorious, signaling the potential for a devastating bloodbath within the confines of the underground city. Addressing Chihuahua, Van warned him to brace himself, hinting that he would play a crucial role in the upcoming operation. Chihuahua, taken aback and struggling to make sense of the rapidly unfolding events, found himself thrust into a position of unforeseen significance. The scene shifted to the streets outside, where Chihuahua, now masked, approached Van with a hushed inquiry about the viability of the plan. In response, Van exuded confidence and urged Chihuahua to place trust in him. It was a difficult ask for Chihuahua, who couldn't fathom the unconventional strategy being employed by Master Van. The stakes were undeniably high, as Van decided to sell himself as a slave. In the Forgotten City, nestled on the outskirts and far removed from the prying eyes of justice, a peculiar congregation of high-ranking carriages gathered near a sprawling tent erected in an isolated enclave. Today, however, was not a day of celebration or festivity for the common folk. Instead, it marked the commencement of an illicit and clandestine affair, an auction of the darkest kind. Within the confines of this makeshift arena, a disturbing spectacle unfolded. Kidnapped souls, ripped from their homes and spanning the spectrum from barbarians to nobles and commoners, were treated as mere chattel. The orchestrator of this macabre event, a masked joker, presided over the grim proceedings with an unsettling glee. Unbeknownst to the notorious Baskerville, a prominent figure in the city, the auction unfolded beyond the reach of his influence. The joker welcomed the gathering, his masked visage concealing the malevolence that lurked beneath. Amidst this shadowy assembly, a peculiar individual named Chihuahua approached the joker, revealing an affiliation with the Mablanc family. With a flourish, Chihuahua produced a letter declaring an intent to sell. Joker masked guy spots Van, who has long black hair and red eyes. He tells Chihuahua that he's brought a unique item and assures Chihuahua that it's valuable and will fetch a good price when sold. As the shadows lengthened, the tent beckoned, and the audience shifted their attention to the impending auction. A mysterious air enveloped the proceedings as the masked joker introduced the first item. A demonic creature known as the Buffalo Murcielago. Rumored to have been filched from the knights of the Baskerville Clan, the creature boasted an A-rank designation and was said to possess an astonishing 19 hearts. The bidding commenced, starting at a modest 1 million gold. The atmosphere grew tense as bids soared, ultimately culminating in a jaw-dropping 250 million gold. The next spectacle unfolded with the introduction of a captive, a member of the battle tribe from the jungle of Le Rouge-le-Noir. A Balak barbarian stood on display, but to the surprise of the audience, no bids were cast. Even the Joker, with his malevolent grin, found himself taken aback. Swiftly, he commanded his underlings to remove the neglected captive and usher in the next item for auction. The Balak, however, harbored defiance. In a desperate attempt to resist the cruel fate that awaited her, she lashed out against her captors. A swift, brutal kick to her stomach subdued her, and she was unceremoniously whisked away to the dark recesses behind the scenes. The stage was now set for the grand reveal, the auction's piece de resistance. Enter Van Baskerville, the unsuspecting protagonist of this dark drama. With an air of quiet intensity, Van stood before the assembly, his long, flowing hair and piercing red eyes capturing the attention of the onlookers. The bidding began at a seemingly modest 6 million gold, but the fervor of the crowd propelled the figures into unimaginable heights, reaching an astronomical 6 billion gold. The collective gasp that swept through the crowd was palpable as an astronomical sum of gold was bid for the captive, and the identity of the bidder emerged. It was none other than Baron Gambino from the Granary territory. Whispers had circulated about the Baron's recent consolidation of underground funds, a swift rise in influence, and an undeniable display of financial might. The attendees were well aware that Gambino's decision to join the auction bore significance beyond the immediate transaction. Baron Butler, a voice of reason amid the unfolding chaos, questioned the Baron's apparent extravagance. In response, Gambino, with an air of calm assurance, detailed his strategy. He explained that possessing a slave of such allure would yield a higher price when sold in the capital, ensuring a lucrative return on the seemingly exorbitant investment. Baron Butler, however, harbored reservations about the staggering bid of 6 billion gold. Expressing concern, she ventured into a dialogue with Gambino. The Baron dismissed her apprehensions with a stern command to silence. He reminded Butler of her indebtedness, recounting how he had accepted her when she had nowhere else to turn. The admonition left Butler silenced and obedient, her loyalty reaffirmed in the face of her master's authority. With the deal sealed, Van, the unwitting protagonist, approached Baron Gambino. At close quarters, Gambino found himself pleasantly surprised by Van's striking appearance. Seizing the moment, Van requested the removal of his handcuffs. Before Gambino could respond, Van, with apparent ease, shattered the chains and cuffs that bound him. The spectacle unfolded with shocking fluidity, leaving both Baron and Butler wide-eyed and incredulous. Van's actions escalated when, with a forceful blow, he hit the ground, shattering the seats beneath the Baron. Gambino tumbled to the floor, caught off guard by the unexpected turn of events. A sinister smile played on Van's face as he stood over the fallen Baron. In a swift, decisive move, Van delivered a punch that rendered Baron Gambino unconscious. The butler, still grappling with disbelief, stared at the scene unfolding before her. The revelation of Van's true identity added an unforeseen layer of complexity to the already surreal sequence of events. The unveiling of Van as the mastermind behind this unexpected twist sent shockwaves through the audience. The underdog city's dark secrets continued to unravel in the most unexpected ways, leaving the spectators in a state of bewildered astonishment. Van, with a chilling smile, addressed the onlookers, forewarning them that the repercussions of this night would spare no one. In the dimly lit alley, the Joker-masked leader was taken aback as he caught sight of Van. Startled, he urgently signaled his cohorts to eliminate the threat, disregarding the fact that Van was unarmed. The group, driven by their leader's command, lunged at Van in unison. However, Van, undeterred by the odds, swiftly unleashed a weapon named Beelzebub, incapacitating the assailants with a single, calculated strike. The Joker-masked leader, wide-eyed and bewildered, witnessed Van's mastery over Aura, a power that surpassed his expectations. It became apparent that Van was not just an ordinary opponent. He was a graduator, a formidable force at such a young age. As the tension escalated, a burly adversary entered the fray, armed with chains that he skillfully hurled towards Van. To the surprise of onlookers, Van effortlessly sliced through the chains, swiftly neutralizing the muscular opponent. The Joker-masked leader, now thoroughly shaken, struggled to comprehend the extent of Van's abilities. Chihuahua, observing the unfolding spectacle from the sidelines, couldn't conceal his astonishment. The entire scene was a revelation, challenging preconceived notions about Van's capabilities. Sensing his imminent defeat, the Joker-masked leader resorted to desperate measures. He seized Chihuahua, using him as a hostage, and demanded Van's surrender. However, Chihuahua, displaying unwavering loyalty, urged Van not to capitulate, expressing a willingness to sacrifice himself rather than burden his superior. Van, moved by Chihuahua's steadfast loyalty, laughed heartily and reassured him. He then disclosed a trump card bestowed upon him by the patriarch when he departed the Baskerville estate, a flute secured to his leg. This revelation perplexed the Joker masked leader, who failed to grasp its significance. Unfazed, Van retrieved the flute and played a resonant melody, causing the surrounding audience to cover their ears in discomfort. The Joker masked leader dismissed it as a mere scare tactic, convinced that nothing significant had occurred. Yet at that very moment, an unseen assailant emerged behind him, swiftly eliminating the Joker masked leader. Chihuahua, witnessing the sudden turn of events, stood in shock. The unexpected assailant was a harbinger of a more formidable force, a group of cloaked figures, their eyes gleaming with intent to kill. The butler, surveying the unfolding chaos, recognized the symbol of teeth on the chests of these mysterious figures. Intrigued murmurs spread through the alley as the realization dawned upon the onlookers. These cloaked individuals were none other than the Annihilation Experts, the Empire's most ruthless Night Order. Every member of this order, 100 in total, bore the distinguished title of Graduator. In the midst of the tumultuous scene, it became evident that the formidable force entering the fray was none other than the Baskerville Clan's Pitbull Knight Order. The air crackled with tension as a knight, stealthily positioned behind the butler, evoked fear in her. The prospect of meeting her demise in such a place seemed incomprehensible. However, just as the knight poised to strike, Van swiftly intervened, asserting authority over this particular knight and issuing orders for them to eliminate the others. Van's directives were explicit. Spare those who remained obediently grounded, but ruthlessly dispatch anyone daring to make a move. As the knight departed to execute Van's commands, Van reflected on the fact that Hugo, his father, had always been remarkably sensitive about military power. Van found solace in the smooth acquisition of control over the Pitbull Knights. Amid the chaos, another figure approached Van, addressing him as his nephew. Asked Van how it feels to use Pitbull Knights and if he's happy with it. Van says he's satisfied and calls the guy Uncle Boston Terrier. This inquisitive individual turned out to be Boston Terrier La Baskerville, the commander of the Pitbull Knights. Seeing Van, Boston Terrier grasped why Hugo, Van's uncle, harbored such keen interest in him. Despite Van's evident fierceness and cruelty at the tender age of 15, Boston Terrier affectionately patted his nephew's head, extending an invitation to join the Pitbull Knights for proper guidance. Despite the inviting offer, Van politely alluded to an urgent matter that demanded his immediate attention, signaling his intention to depart. While Van's uncle found himself increasingly intrigued by Van's nonchalant demeanor, Van couldn't help but regard him as a tad bothersome. Exiting the main stage, Van navigated to the backstage of the auction, where an array of items up for bidding were stored. Amid the artifacts, his attention was drawn to a safe, leading him to speculate that it contained the funds paid to nobles, a safeguard for ensuring proper taxation by the city hall. Yet, amidst these considerations, a covered cage captured Van's curiosity. Van unveils the cage, and to his surprise, he discovers the Balak girl from the auction inside the cage.